ever felt like your momentum wasn't where it needed to be? Have you ever felt like you start the week and then the week goes by and you don't really have anything to show for it at the end of the week? Everything's just kind of happened and you don't even know what happened, right? But that's why I made this. I made this as the medicine for myself for the problem I was experiencing. And the problem I was experiencing consistently was a lack of momentum in my life. And I noticed that from what I just described. I had too many weeks that came and went where I started the Monday and then it was Friday and I couldn't point back over the week to say what I did. And I tried all the journals and I tried all the meditations and I tried the cold plunges and all this stuff. Nothing really worked for me until I started looking at things through this lens of momentum and showing you this momentum map here. I'm going to show you the process that I came up with. And really, this is also something I created for my private clients, is because I realized that most men especially are experiencing this same exact phenomenon. We feel this drive to push forward and everything we're seeing is like, hey, you need to step into this power and you need to just like burn through, and like we understand that that is what is expected of us. And that's not what power is, and that's not what momentum is, and that's not actually what we need to do, because that's not the truth of what momentum is. And I'm going to show you that right now. So let me pull up my different note here so I can draw for you. I have never used Ecamm Live to go live on YouTube, so this is new. And we're going to roll with it and we're going to make it happen. Because I noticed something, guys, this is just a side tangent here. A rabbit I'm going to chase. If most people aren't willing to do things because they suck at that thing. And they're especially not willing to do it in public facing everyone. And I submit to you that no one has ever gotten better by not doing something because they were scared they were going to look like an idiot. You have to just work through that stuff, because here's the truth, man, people don't actually care. And so I've watched people over and over and over again freak out or not do presentations because they think that they suck at it. Who cares, man? I don't care. I would watch you kind of struggle through trying to present me a gold idea all day long as you're showing up. So that's what I'm going to do here today too. I've done this a lot. I've just never used Ecamm to do it. So we'll switch over to this. Momentum. Most people think that momentum is speed, but that's not what momentum is. Momentum, the actual equation for it, goes like this. Momentum equals mass times velocity. Now, this word is really interesting to me, velocity, because it sounds like speed, but it's not speed. Velocity is speed in a specific direction. And so if you take mass, which mass is like your thing, your energy, your thing that you bring to the table, that you're doing every day, that you're trying to accomplish, that's you, that's your mass. Velocity is a speed in the direction that you want to go on a quest. That's how you get into momentum. You get into momentum not by going fast and just doing whatever, which is kind of what we're taught to do. What we have to do instead is decide on a direction and orient ourselves in that way and gain traction as we go towards the thing. That's how momentum actually happens, and don't let anybody tell you any different from that, okay? So now that we understand that, why do we need this? Why is it important right now that we experience momentum? Well, I think there's two main reasons. I'm going to pull them up right here. There's two main reasons. One is that distraction is at an all-time high. Everywhere you look wants you to feel fear. They want you to feel sucked into the noise. And my friend, we have to fight against that with everything we have. Because especially as like AI gets more and more integrated into everybody's lives and everything everybody does, we're going to become more distracted and we're going to stop critically thinking. That's going to come down to the low, right? And so when we have critical thinking going down, and influence of all these other voices on the outside going up, there's too much room for that to enter into your world and affect your life. And we can't let that happen. So number two, there's an epidemic of loneliness. And what does that have to do with momentum? Well, we've never been more disconnected. All right, we've never been more disconnected ever. And when we get disconnected, we don't actually tend to turn inward. We actually tend to numb that feeling of disconnected. How would we do that? We do that by staying busy. And busy is not moving forward in momentum. I learned this. I heard this quote from Brendon Burchard this year. And he said, busy work is not your life's work. Okay, so how much time are you spending on your life's work versus busy work? Is that a good question? I think so. So the question becomes now, what is your life's work? And are you making progress on it? That's exactly why I developed this momentum map that I'm going to show you right now. And this presentation is meant to be something, not just the presentation, but the momentum map in general is meant to be something that you do every week to focus your energy on a specific thing so that you can actually experience momentum. Because if you're thinking about like all the things that need to be done, which most business owners are, a lot of people you're carrying a lot of stuff at all times. We can't let that distraction be ruling our life. We want to be in some semblance of control. And the way we do that is not actually by like holding on tight, it's by letting go and flowing in a specific direction. I'm going to show you how to do that here today. So if you guys are ready for that, I'm going to pull it up right now. Here we go. This is the momentum map, and I'll drop a link here in the comments too, so you guys can go through this at your own leisure. But it's, as you can see, a super simple way for you to, at a glance, spend time with your vision, spend time with your quest, spend time with the things you need to do to get where you want to go. That's why I developed this. So let's just go through it. What is the quest that you're on? What are you aiming to build, change, or create in the next 90 days? And why does it matter that you do it now? And so I'm going to send you a document that has both of these in here, that has the questions up here and then the blanks, fill in the blanks down here. So let's just write this down. I'm on a quest to create a community of highly focused men. All right, that's my mission right now, and that's what I'm working on with all the work that I'm doing. So what is your quest that you're doing? Once we understand what the quest is, then we can move into the outcomes we want to achieve. But first, we have to understand what we're doing. Why? Because momentum, remember, has nothing to do with going fast. It has everything to do with gaining traction in a specific direction. Momentum equals mass times velocity. Velocity is not speed, it's speed in a specific direction. So once we have that, once we understand that the quest is something that we are going towards, now we can start to gain traction. And we do that in a couple ways. And I've never seen anybody explain it like this. So the way I'm going to do it here is going to blow your mind. Okay, so here we go. The 3 outcomes. The reason I like to think about things through the lens of outcomes is because I think the reason why creatives, entrepreneurs, visionary people get frustrated is because things are moving too slow. And when things move too slow and we can't get to where we want to go, it's because we have this super clear vision in our mind of where we want to go and we're getting there too slow. And then we start to kind of like die off. I don't want that to happen to you. And the way that we avoid that is by spending time in the future. If you can spend time in the future, it feels like it's already here, right? And then that frustration doesn't happen because there's no gap. You're already there. So when you think about the outcomes, I don't want you to just think about what's going to happen. I want you to write them down, and then I want you to experience them as done. Experience them as something that you have done right now. And that requires a little meditation, okay? So what are the 3 outcomes over the next week that you're going to write down and you're going to go towards? And this is going to become vital information. Why is this happening? I don't want this up here. There we go. This is going to become vital information for your week. So Brendon Burchard, I learned this from him, not this, but the idea of a battle board. He talks about this concept of having something on your wall that is like a giant, this is what I'm doing. I can look at it. It's tangible. I can experience it right now in front of me. And he spends time with it. And every day he talks about how he'll just go in 5 minutes and just stare at it. and spend time with this thing you're creating. It's so tempting to just like charge ahead and try to go fast without actually spending time with your own vision, the thing you're going to do. So what I want you to do is when you fill out this momentum map, every day of the week, start your day 5 minutes just looking at it. This is how you reorient yourself to the path. This is a constant pointing back. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. If you do that, I guarantee you'll stay on track better than you didn't. So what are the 3 outcomes that you want to do this week? Maybe an outcome is I want to reach out to, no, actually that's an action. See, this is why it's important. We'll talk about the difference between actions and outcomes in a second. But let's say I'm going to have launched a new workshop. Okay, maybe that's an example. Or maybe an outcome is I wrote 7,000 words towards a book that I'm writing. Or maybe an outcome is I booked 5 new clients. Okay, so now that we have these outcomes for the week, now this is important, that is, it's for the week, we can look at them and we can just like take a breath. And I want you to step into what it feels like to have done this. I launched a new workshop. Man, how freaking good is that going to feel to have the messaging dialed in for that, to have everything created for that, to have the confidence that I know that I have to be able to present this thing. Man, that feels good. Or that I wrote 7,000 words. Man, that's great. That is so much further down the path than I ever expected to be with writing a book. You know, so you step into the future with this and you spend time with this every day. Now, if the reason I labeled all this out like this, with the dragons, the idea of a map, the idea of a quest, is because I'm obsessed with stories. And I'm obsessed with the way stories present themselves on screen and why we're so drawn to them as humans. Why do we spend so much time in that world? I believe it's because it's inside of us. Whatever that diagram of what a story is inside of our code as humans. So what happens on a quest? The hero receives a call to adventure, and they decide that they're going to leave the comfort of the known reality and step into this unknown reality they've never done before. That's the whole point of a quest, and that's the first thing that has to happen. What happens immediately after that is that they face obstacles. Not struggles. Struggles are choices. An obstacle is something that comes up that's in the way that you need to figure out how to navigate around. Oftentimes, it's in the face of, or in the in the form of a monster, right? So that's the reason for the dragons here. So we have these 3 outcomes. These are outcomes that we're going to experience on the quest. And now, I want you to think about the obstacles. And there's a really interesting way that I like to do this for people to figure out what the actual obstacles are. All right, you ready? Is it cool if we do this? I want you to hold this in your mind, to hold these things in your mind, and I want you to close your eyes. Now, if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But close your eyes and take a deep breath and imagine yourself in a room. And you're surrounded by people in a circle around you. You're standing in the middle of them. You're looking them all in the eye as you stand there in the room. And I want you to say out loud the things that you're meaning to accomplish, the quest that you're on, and the outcomes that you want to accomplish this week. Say out loud to these people that you're looking at. Say, I'm on a quest to create a community of highly focused men who are thriving in their lives. And the way I'm going to do that this week is I'm going to launch a new workshop. I'm going to write 7,000 words and I'm going to book 5 new clients. Okay, and now this is the part where it gets fun. I want you, after you say that, I want you to listen to them. What did they say to you when you proudly proclaimed these things in front of people? What did they say to you? If you're like most people, it probably went a little something like this. And I'd be curious, you guys could totally drop in the comments what you heard. But maybe it was, I've heard that before. Or maybe it was, yeah, right. Or, you haven't done that before. Or you said that before. Or I'll believe it when I see it. Okay? These are the actual obstacles in your life. These are the actual things that are going to stop you. And here's what I want you to understand, is that if you go back to that room and you look around and you see all the people and you open your eyes, there's no people here. It's just you. All of those voices, all of those things that were said, you said to yourself, man. That is coming from you. And those are the things that you tell yourself every time that you start to go on a quest and commit to something. These are the things you say to yourself. And so we have to develop some trust in ourselves, but we also have to clear this stuff out. And here's how I like to do that. I'm going to just walk you through something really quick that's going to help you with this. And it looks like this. You start tapping right here on your karate chop point. And I just want you to pick one of these things on the list, man. I'm going to pick one. Let's see. I'll believe it when I see it. I'm going to just tap right here. I believe it when I see it is what I'm going to tap through. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Even though I'm feeling this lack of belief in myself, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I'm feeling this lack of belief in myself, I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself. I'll just tap through the points. And man, even though I've said this stuff before and I don't have any proof really side of the eyes, I know that I've just said all this stuff before and I've frankly lied to myself underneath the nose. And I haven't done it. I haven't done it in the past. And that sucks. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I am. I know that I'm meant for more. And so right now, eyebrows, I'm choosing to step into a different story. Taking on this quest, sides of the eyes. Becoming more. Stepping into a story that I know that I can be in. Underneath the chin there. And I deeply love, accept, and forgive myself for not doing this in the past. Collarbone. And I'm not carrying this anymore. I'm just going to step into fully the person I need to be to do this. Top of the head. Cool? Just wipe your face off real quick and shake that stuff away. And then you can do the same thing for all the things you wrote down. Guys, the whole point of this is to remove the charge of some of these things that are holding you back. Because if we don't do that, if we don't remove some of the emotional charge, I don't know if you guys know this, and if you felt this before, but like emotion creates memory. If you can think of any time in your life where you have this like really vivid memory, there was probably some level of heightened emotion to it. And so the reason why I bring up the negative feeling is so that we can feel that and bring it up right now, so that then we can counteract it. If you follow that script I just did, it was like negative into positive. What happened versus what I'm choosing. There's a different path available for you. But the reason that's there, the reason all these things are there is because of the emotional charge that exists around them. So if we can lighten the load of that, it makes it a lot easier to go do these things. It makes it a lot easier to experience these outcomes as something real, as something that we can actually do in our life. And so these are the real obstacles. So whatever those are, just tap through those things. And you don't have to spend a lot of time. Like, I don't know how long that took, maybe a minute. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing it. You don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Man, there's no point in doing all that. Like, you don't have to do that. That's not what the point of this is. The point is to release the charge so that you can go forward and complete the quest. Cool? Now, This is the fun part. These are the things you're actually going to actually do. So after you do this process, I want you to listen for inspired actions. Sometimes it just looks like getting quiet for just a second. Okay, I want to launch a new workshop. What are the actions I'm going to do this week for that? And so let's see, workshop. Okay, action number 1, I want to create a page. I'm going to create content. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to promote it. Awesome. So those are the 3 actions I'm going to take around that specific thing. And then I just go through the next day. So I'm going to write 7,000 words. That's 1,000 words a day. So every single day I'm going to write 1,000 words. Okay. And now I need to book 5 new clients. How am I going to do that? I'm going to reach out to some people I know, let them know what I do. So I'm going to reach out to 5 people a day. I'm going to run my workshop. I'm going to go live on YouTube, let people know what I do. Let's see. So there's all kinds of, so you see how this works. So it's literally giving you the space to look at the outcomes you desire. Clear what's in the way that's actually going to stop you on a daily basis. And then look at the actions you need to take to get the thing you want. You guys see how this works? You see how simple this is and how much easier it is than like all this like mess around like time management and making all this stuff. Like, who cares about any of that? No. We're on a quest. We need momentum. So we need to know where we're going and we need to know what we're doing. This gives us all that. When you're on a quest, though, there's going to be things that pop up. So you need to clear those out of the way, defeat the dragons. And so with this, I want you to understand something. When a hero is on a quest, and we're watching, like, so if we're watching Lord of the Rings, or just any example. So hero goes out on the quest, they find a dragon, they find a monster, it's in a cave. Okay, the monster comes out, they fight the monster. And then they fight the monster to 90% health. And then they retreat and they hide behind a tree, and the monster goes back into the cave and heals until it's 100% health and comes back out again. That's effectively what we're doing by not dealing with this shit. We're just letting the monster go back into the cave, heal, and then come back again. So the way that we truly defeat it is by acknowledging that it's freaking there every day and going after it. I'm not going to let these words run my life anymore. And once you decide that, now I can experience these outcomes as actually really there. So it would be a really terrible movie and we'd be screaming at the screen if we watched a hero do that over and over again, where they stopped and they stopped fighting the monster long enough for the monster to recover to fight them again. We'd be screaming at the screen like, what are you doing, dude? Kill the monster. So that's what I want you to do. And we have to do this on a daily basis to point back. So a lot of these things are going to lose their charge throughout the week. That's great. Let them lose their charge, man. So whatever, like, you can look at the list and maybe something new pops up. Put it on there. Work through it. Get it out. It's all good. So once you have the quest, once you have the outcomes, once you understand what the obstacles are that are going to stop you and you clear those out of the way and you write down the actions, now I want you to look at this on a daily basis. Because the whole point of this is to help you move from feeling stuck and feeling like you can't get going into a feeling of freedom. The freedom that it takes to move into the person you want to be, into the thing you want to have. So from stuck to free. So we have to think about that through the lens of identity. Like, who do I see myself as? Do I see myself as reactive on a daily basis? Do I want to see that? Or do I want to see myself as resilient? Someone who can stand up and keep going. And you can pick whatever words you want, but just like literally my old identity here is reactive Chris versus resilient Chris. Who do I want to show up as today? And if I choose this one over and over and over again every single day and remind myself when I look at my battle board that is the momentum map, then I can step into that person. And that's how I'm going to go my day. Let's go. And then I want you to think about what's one word you're living by for the next 90 days. So those words could be free. It could be alive. It could be multiple words. Like I use these words, bold moves, So whatever it looks like for you, the reason that we put these on here is because words have meaning. How do I know that words have meaning and are power and hold powers? Because when you set a foot in that ring of people and you told them out loud what you were going to do, and they used these words against you to stop you, they work, and they work every time. So we can do the same thing with positive words. And when we revisit them in our mind and we replace these with these, things feel a lot better. So I wanted to challenge you in your process of doing the momentum map. Again, I'm going to put this in down below. You can do this on a daily basis just to have something to look at. I have a friend who started going through this, and he told me that he wrote down 3 outcomes. The first time he did it, he wrote down 3 outcomes that he wanted to achieve that week, and he surpassed them. And I'm going to share more of his story later as it continues to develop. It was kind of crazy, man. So this stuff works, guys. It's not just, whatever. It works. So if you do it, it'll work. Cool? So I'm going to drop this down below, and I want you to fill this out. But mostly, I want you to understand that you are in a story. And in a story, there are multiple parts that unfold. And so no matter where you are right now in your story, you can change what's happening, because not only are you the person in there, you're also the narrator and the writer, and you get to decide what happens next. And you may not even know exactly what that's going to be, and it's not about planning out every step, no, but it is about identifying the quest and understanding the outcomes you desire, and then what you're up against, defeating those things, and then just taking the steps to get there, and that's it. Cool. So this has been the momentum map. I'm thinking about doing this on a weekly basis. You guys can let me know if you like this. I wanted to do it just, to free. I've done some live workshops where I teach this, but I wanted to do it live on YouTube and try that out as well. So you guys let me know if you like that. If you want me to do this on a weekly basis where you can just show up and we can do this together on Monday mornings, I think that'd be fun. So I'll drop the link down below and fill it out. Look at it every day. Use it as your battle board as you go in to your quest. All right. I love you guys. Have a great week. I hope you had a fantastic Easter weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.